welcome to Baron Somnia. Make sure you subscribe right now. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video, and please leave your comments below. If you want a spiritual consultation, if you want a spiritual outline where I show you where to go with your path, and if you want a decoding of any kind, from dream decoding to anything that's going on in your life, make sure you email me, baronsomnia@gmail.com, and make sure you follow me on Instagram, HDDN, at HDDNWRK, which means hidden work. Everything is in the description. So tonight I'll be talking about why you need to avoid people who are in agreement to what Jada Pinkett Smith did. People that you see shaming August Alsina, people who you see that are, with that toxic behavior, that are shaming another man for expressing himself, for telling his story, who had issues, who needed healing, and his way of healing was expressing himself. People who shame that are toxic people. The problem is that there's a lot of toxic people out here, and you have to know how to differentiate from a toxic person and a person who's actually good within in their general, and you don't have all of these lower entities dwelling within themselves. You have to know how to differentiate from people who are genuine and kind at heart, and people who are straight up on fuck shit and don't give a fuck, and are constantly on savage mode and don't give a fuck about and have no compassion for you at all. You understand? See, if you're unfamiliar about the situation, Jada Pinkett Smith came out today and admitted that she was in a relationship, a small relationship with August Alsina, because she took a break from Will Smith, right? August Alsina knew that the industry was fake and showed fake love, because that's a very parasitic circle that you're in when you're in a celebrity circle, celebrity status, when you're in that limelight. You understand? You're in a very toxic place. You understand? And the limelight is basically astrolight, which is pretty much a trick to get stuck back in humanity once you die. Okay? Just so y'all know. But anyway, being in that industry, very parasitic industry indeed, right? So August Alsina had issues. He needed healing. He had mental issues, and he needed help. He put Jada Pinkett Smith on a pedestal, which was a huge mistake for him, and he shouldn't have did that. But he was at a weak point, right? So he put Jada on a pedestal, and he trusted Jada because she was separated from Will at the time. So she decided to get into a relationship with him because he was fulfilling her ego. He was feeding her ego. He was stroking her ego, right? And she pretty much fed off of his emotion. She fed off of his... She was pretty much egotistically fed by him because he put trust into her. And he thought highly of her, and that was feeding her ego. So she only ate up all of his emotion and fed on his emotion as they engaged in sexual intercourse and etc. She only ate off of that. She only absorbed that from him. That's what she did. Because her, being her in her low nature, being in that industry, being all up in Hollywood, you're a parasite off rip. To even be comfortable in that circle of Hollywood, you gotta be a parasite. There's no possible way you aren't. You understand? There ain't no high energy in no Hollywood. They do the most devious shit there. You understand? So she was only preying upon him because she got a bunch of low energies on her, and she only preyed upon him. And then, when it was all said and done, however they left and, ended their relationship for whatever reason that may have been. I'm pretty sure it wasn't on the best of levels, because according to August Alsina, he had to heal from that as well. And I'm pretty sure he had to heal because all of his energy was drained from him from that relationship, right? And, she was denying that she was ever in a relationship with him. A lot of people were angry at August Alsina for telling that he had sex with her and whatnot, but he was just telling his story. It wasn't about somebody violating and say, oh, that's nobody's business. No, he was only telling his story because that was his way of healing. You understand? Some people need a voice, and they need to speak out to release their pain. Do you understand? That's their form of them doing their work to heal from that by speaking on it. It's a form of therapy for them, right? Okay, so people were mad about that. People were saying, oh, well, her pussy's so fire and he's just trapped because she just gave him the best sex and her pussy's amazing and all this bullshit. No, you have to understand this shit is deeper than sex. Love is love. You understand? And love goes beyond the physical. You know, he had genuine love for her. And I'm pretty sure he understood that he was being fed off of and he couldn't pursue what was going on. Do you understand that? You know, on top of that, she was pretty much leaving the door open for Will, and I'm pretty sure she was just feeding him lies since he was feeding his ego. She had, you know, no choice but to, you know, keep, you know, giving him false promises and a false sense of happiness, you know, for, you know, him to keep stroking her ego. You understand? Because he thought highly of her already. And that's why the relationship happened, right? Okay. So, after all that, you know, she's out here lying and saying that, I never had a relationship with him. This is false. Now you coming out saying, oh, well, me and Will separated and he didn't know about it and we had an entanglement? We had an entanglement? Or did you tangle for low entities upon this man when you fed upon him? Did you tangle low entities upon this man when you fed upon him? Maybe that's what happened. That sounds more accurate. So you cannot trust people. You cannot trust people that are siding with this parasitic behavior, this toxic behavior that is preying upon a man who was already weak, and she goes out of her way to try and act like, oh, let me continue to pursue a situationship with this man and act like I care about him because he is feeding my ego. He's feeding my ego. He's making me feel good. So I'm going to, you know, let this go where it may because I can feed off him. He's feeding my ego and that makes me feel good. You want to see that's parasitic alone because you're not genuinely fucking with him. You're only fucking with him for the gain of you absorbing his energy, absorbing his plea, you know, to be healed. And you ain't no real healer, motherfucker. You trying to act like you are. You were saying all you was doing was feeding off of him. That's what you were doing. You were feeding off him. And anybody who's siding with that shit, you should stay away from. You shouldn't fuck with nobody. You shouldn't fuck with nobody who is on that type of time. Because nothing about that is good. Nothing about that, you know, is even high level shit. That's low humanity shit. Because it's only an ego boost. Oh, her pussy was fire. Look at him. Sucker ass nigga. Oh, look at this nigga. He's a man and he out here moping and shit. The nigga needs healing. The problem is, men don't like to talk about men don't like to talk about their traumas. Men don't like to talk about, you know, shit that happened in the past. They want to hold everything in. You got to release. And a lot of people's release is talking about it to heal from it. That's the problem. That's the problem with a lot of men. They can't talk about, you know, their past traumas because they don't look like a sucker to people. But fuck them. Fuck everybody else. Who cares what they think? You understand? People got to talk about what they're feeling, how they're feeling, the toxic nature. They have to talk about what is holding them back to release. You understand? So this type of toxic ass behavior, whoever is siding with that shit and calling this man out of his name and saying he's not a man and saying that Jada Pinkett is doing her thing, those are toxic people. They cannot relate. They do not understand what love is. They don't understand what healing is, because if they did, they would not be siding with some low energetic behavior, period. You understand? But this is just showing you, because of the amount of people that are siding with that shit and that are shaming this man, it's just showing you how many toxic people are out here and how many people ain't shit. Facts. A lot of people ain't shit. In this spiritual path, you're mostly alone most of the time. You only got little friends, people who are on the frequency, and that's cool. There's not a lot of us out here. But this is showing you how many people ain't shit. You don't need these motherfuckers. They not going nowhere. They stuck here. And you moving on. You get through your healing, fuck how whoever feels. I mean, it's a shame that he had to do it in this limelight and get ridiculed for it. But, he's learning his lesson, and I'm proud of that man, and I hope he's healing as well. You understand? Maybe it might be time for him to step from out of that spotlight and do his own thing. Just my opinion. I think that's better for him because he's already in a toxic space already. But, this is just showing you what reality is. You understand? That's why these events happen, because it's only a reflection of what's happening within. This is all facts. Stay away from people who think this kind of behavior is okay and acceptable. Because it's not. It's not acceptable. Being toxic and feeding off of someone because they're going through something, and you taking advantage of them because they're feeding your ego, and you're not no real healer, but they convinced that you could heal them, and you going out your way because you feel as though, and your ego is telling you that, oh, yeah, take advantage. You cannot fuck with these people. And people who agree with you can't fuck with these people. These people ain't shit. Only you mattering in shit. Yeah, you could have love, of course. But you need to know the energy that you're dealing with. That's all. We all make mistakes. We are not perfect. We live in humanity. This ain't perfect. We living in our lowest selves in this humanity. However, we got to think outside of it. You understand? But this is Bear Insomnia. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video. Leave a comment below. Follow me on Instagram, HDDN, Hidden Work. And then once again, if you want a spiritual consultation, spiritual outline, where I show you, where to go on your path. I'll give you a whole list. Or if you want a decoding of any kind, dream decoding, anything that's going on in your life, you make sure you email me at bearinsomnia@gmail.com. Everything's in the description. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday. I'm out.